Hello and welcome to Dels Gaming. I'm Del and we're back in the Kerbal Space Program where Dels Aquanauts, that's the wrong game. Dels Astronautics is making its way into space. And what have we got at this moment? If we go to our tracking station, we shouldn't have any areas. So we've got no, just checking for any debris. Any bits that I hadn't pulled in from the last session. So what we've got is some contracts to do. We're going to have a look at our contracts at this moment. Orbit, and we're going for altitude records and escape the atmosphere. Now the atmosphere is around 60,000, I think it's about 60,000 altitude. So we're going to move it up slowly. Now one issue, I won't say issue, but the way to escape the atmosphere is basically thrust. There's no two ways around it. We need lots and lots of thrust. We'll go through some of the settings. The first thing I'll see if we can use some of our science points. We've got 15.5 science, so let's go and have a look what we need to get the next level up. Because just at this moment, I think we need more power to get us into that orbit area. So we need this general rocketry here, which will give us a nice new booster rocket, which will be greatly appreciated, and fuel tank, which is mostly what we need at this time, just to push us into that orbital or suborbital position. And that's going to need another 5 science points. So what we're going to do is build a little new vehicle, basically with a bit more power, just to take us straight up and experiment with some of the height and speeds that are available. So we're going to start with our, in actual fact what we're going to do is we're going to load in our, let's have a look at Exploder 3 for the moment. Okay, so that was our Exploder 3, which did a reasonable job, but I think it's now time to go a little further. So we're going to rework this one. So first of all, let's see what we have as far as fuel tanks. We're going to put some liquid oxygen fuel tanks in here for this final stage. We'll go with about 4 tanks. Now the key for launching a craft is what they call delta V, and that is basically escaping the gravity, and it's your delta velocity, and it's how much velocity you need to build up to over time. It's not the maximum velocity, it's the amount of velocity built up, and it's a combination of your thrust, your thrust to weight ratio, and it's over time as each of your stages are deployed. And now to escape or get into orbit, you need about a delta V of about totaling about 4,500 points, which is a lot of thrust basically. So it is just a matter effectively at this early stage of strapping lots of rockets to your vehicle. So we're going to go through the basics here. We're going to set up a nice little fin stabilized aerodynamic vehicle. There we go. So that's got a delta V of 1600. So it's not going to get into orbit, but it's got a burn time, good thrust. That should get a good, yep, that should get a good part of way into our area. So we can see, we won't do all stages. Let's see, right now we'll just put another coupler onto here. So we've got another stage, and then we're going to put some rockets on the bottom of there, which we've got available. Now we have got the hammer solid fuel booster. So just to see how this is going to work, we're just going to put one of them on the bottom, and you can see it did added a little bit of delta V, and our total went up. So our 1600 there, we've got 554 there. Now the delta V is basically worked out based upon the weight, how long that's going to burn for, and it depreciates over time. So as this is burning away, it's getting lighter, so it's accelerating, but it's obviously pushing a very big weight. Once that weight has gone, you'll notice the top half is then pushing a lighter weight, and is got a higher delta V because of it. Now we're going to strap a few rockets to this here, just as a testing point at this moment, because as I say, we are just going to go for a fairly high launch, but nothing too much. We just want to build up our altitude and make sure our control systems work, and see if we've got any instabilities in the vehicle in general. Now the other thing with I've noticed with the aerodynamics, I've put some there, but it's always worth, certainly at the beginning, you want to get controls as close to the base of the ship as possible to get the maximum control of each section. Certainly when you're still in atmospheric area, which we are at the moment. Once we're into close to suborbital, then it's not as critical, because you can use the reaction jets. The air's not as thick and not as much of a problem. Now we've got a delta V of 2,700. So this is going to be we're getting close to exploder 4. Let's give that a save, and we're going to give this a launch, and also get it into the habit of moving some of these into the correct settings. Now, okay, one other setting which I haven't really played around with too much is the SAS, which is the stabilization system. So let's just make sure all of our stages are correct. Okay, so we're ready for a launch. Now that stabilization at the moment, you'll see a little panel should appear up once it starts up, giving us the various available options, and we're going to point it at the prodigious, which is our highest point once we've launched up, and we'll see that once I get the basics launched. Now we're going to make sure our throttle is on full, ready for the liquid oxygen stage. The first solid fuel stage has no throttle associated with it. They are either on or off. There is no throttle available. So so we got our current apoapis. I can't say that one. Rather than parapis, the apoapis is the highest point with current thrust that we are going to go. So you'll see that increase in either of these, in this head up here and also down here, when we start launching and our thrust goes up, and that's the highest point it's estimated to be going to. So let's get underway. So we've got that. I'm going to lean our ship over if I can. Let's go for a height at this moment. One stage gone, boosting the next stage, losing control. Come on. Nope, losing control one more time. We're not getting enough control to eject. We've got a good height there, but not enough. We basically lost control of the vehicle. The solid thruster was okay, but we were not getting enough control to get stabilization. Let's get our little Kerbal safely down to the ground. But hopefully we did get some increased height on that. So the stabilisation wasn't working as well as I would like. That's the remains of some of our items there. Although we were using the stabilisation method, the stabilisation at the moment is not, it's basically based upon Jeb. Oops, I forgot to put my goo out. Let's put the goo out. Gives us a little bit of goo, and we can also do a crew report. Record that, and then we'll recover it. And that'll give us a little bit of science. So, what do we need to find out? We need to find out. Oops, so we're up to 18 science. So that was a good little move. Did we break any records? I don't think we really weren't breaking records on that one. Oops, wrong one. I need to go over here. Didn't show us on the left hand side here any changes. So we've got to get up to 7,500 and 450. Okay. So we have got a few records we've broken here. 5,000. 3.5. We'll get rid of these now because we can discard these because we've completed those particular contracts. Okay. So our parts were not giving us a stability. It's rather difficult to control that vessel at the moment. It's not responding to the control input very well at all at the moment. So we need to look at what we can do to increase the controllability of the vehicle, especially when it comes into the liquid oxygen phase. That was very poor indeed. Now what I might try doing, let's take that section off, is take that section and delete it and try this alternative cockpit. See if this alternative cockpit gives us more abilities than the current one. Let's have a look, because it is, you know, it's basically a better vehicle. So what we're going to try here, we're going to put an extra solid rocket booster in just to try and get a little higher before the solid rockets, liquid fuel rocket is ignited. So that's our aim here. So we'll need another stack coupler. So basically we've added an extra phase in. Whoops, no, they're launching too quickly. Right, I need to put that one down there. So they fire, and then that stack coupler fires. You've got to make sure you get these correct, otherwise, as you can tell, you're going to be firing all over the place and everything's going to go less than happy, less than correct. Okay, excellent. So we're going to have an initial booster and then a extra solid, two solid rockets. Oh no, that's in the wrong place actually. Just noticed. Let's move that over there. That's a solid rocket. Okay, that's got to go there. I did that in the wrong place. That's why the stages went wrong there. I just put things in the wrong place. Let's make sure this is correct now. So fire, then decouple, then fire that rocket. You can see it highlighting as I roll over the right hand side. Then we need, no, these decouples here are in the wrong places. So that one needs to go up there, and this one needs to go down. Get them in the wrong order, problems will ensue. And okay, what have we got as far as the only problem is this has not got any the ability to land. That's a problem, so we can't use that cockpit. Okay, let's take it off. You can go, and we'll go back to a standard standard cockpit, because that one is obviously for atmospheric aircraft only. Oops. So we're going back to our original command pod, and we need to get so we can control this a little bit better. So which means either we need to have a better control. We'll put the goo and the other bits on here so that we can get in there. So what do we need to control? At the moment, we might have to have a look at what is available in our research and development. Let's see if we can get another quick little bit of research out, some high altitude research using this vehicle to get some more skill points, some more science. So this time I'm going to try to remember to put up our skill points when we are airborne. So okay, let's give it double check of the stages. Are you ready, Mr. Kerbal? Who have we got in here at the moment? Jebediah. Jebediah, are you ready? Let's go. Tilt to the right initially, launch, just to get it into that sort of area. Okay, we've got stabilisation, stable. Launching that section, in next section. No, it's gone unstable again after the launch. Let's see if we can manually stabilise this up. Control it. Control that stabilisation. Excellent. Slowly bring thrust up here. We've got a good thrust here. That's good. Good thrust, and we're getting up to a good the highest point is at 24,000 meters now, and at 32, 34, 47. Right, I'm going to hold that at 60. Now this is, I'm going to start our goo collector, start observing. Keep that. Right, we'll close it up again. So we're going to as close to a 62,000 on there. Now what we can do is if we go to the M and below it, we can see the highest point that we are going to get to at this moment. Now what we can do, we're at 62,000 feet, we can try for a low orbit by trying to push our highest point, the AP, at this area. Now we've already got through quite a few contracts here. Now what we're going to try and do is when we're just before we get to our AP, we're going to try and push our height a little further by using the jets. So we're going to aim at this Apopawis here. This is our prograde axis. So this particular square, if we aim for this, if we put it into, it's in orbit mode, by aiming at this, it should increase our orbit. So we're going to now put some thrust onto there. And you'll notice, see how it's elongated the effect. If I go down to here, down to 0, Now if I just increase that a little bit further, we've got up to 100 kilometers. If I just increase that a little further, you should see how the line is increasing away. Because of the angle we're doing, we're actually increasing the distance we are traveling at, and that would in an orbital side, if we can get that so that it's beyond the width of the planet, we effectively go into an orbital type of trajectory. And we'll just use the last of our fuel. There we go, that's the last of our fuel now. So we're then coming for a water landing, but we've done a good high, we'll get rid of that stage. There we go, so we're now ready for deployment. We'll turn our module around, ready in case of re-entry. So we're now ready for deployment. Now we're aiming now at what's called the retrograde rather than the prograde. The retrograde, when you aim at that, does the opposite. It would shorten the angle that we would have, the distance we're going, and the height of the AP. I'm going to call this AP and for the moment as the aporis, the highest point. We won't see the other point until we actually get into orbit. So we've done quite a few contracts here actually. We did 17 kilometers, 19 kilometers, speed record of 1050, 11 kilometers, 750, 11.5, 450, 7500, right, and up to 100 kilometers we went. Right, let's just, what we're going to do is we're going to try and see if we can get any more points from the mystery goo. 2.797, so we'll keep that data, and we're going to reset container. We're also going to get a crew report, which is going to give us a good bit of as well. Okay, we can see the heat shields working on the re-entry, which is good. So effectively, we got just about, I think, almost out of atmosphere. I think we may have got out of atmosphere. We'll have a check on the exact reason. Now, the way the parachute seems to work is that you don't want to launch it too high. 200 meters is fine. So let's launch it. It's actually too fast at this moment. Can't launch at the moment. Okay. Let's get ourselves. We're going to turn off the. So we just come down straight down. There we go. Right, it's too fast at the moment to deploy. We need that the air to apply and just go. We've got, or we may have a failure in the parachute. Trying to deploy, and the parachute has failed to deploy. Ah, we may lose a Kerbal here. Oh dear, and we lose all of that lovely science. Oh dear. So, okay, the command pod smashed down, blah blah blah. Basically, the parachute did not deploy properly there, which is not good. So we unfortunately lost that Kerbal. Oh, you will be missed. And we also lost all of the points from the space on there. Now we need to look at what did I do wrong with the points. We'll go back to the Space Center. Where did I go wrong there? What I think was possibly my staging. We'll have a look at the vehicle. We'll load up the vehicle again because we may try to reproduce some of that flight to try and get. Now we've got a fair few points in science. We got some, but not enough. We needed to get back onto the ground on there. So let's go and have a look at what happened. What was wrong with our ship? Now I've got an idea on that last, you see here, the parachute deployed whilst in space, and that's the reason we had that problem. So okay, now we're gonna just, before we go on to one more flight, we're just gonna super boost this up a bit. I'm gonna try that one more time, and now that I've sorted out that, we're just gonna give the first stage a little bit of a boost, for want of a better word. Let's put another couple of connectors. I don't actually, let's just get rid of that one and get rid of them, and then we're going to put a 4-point booster on this first stage. I'm going to see if that gets us a little bit better. And we were having some problems with stability in that middle phase, so I'm going to put some more fins on that stage there. So let's just make sure. So we've got 5 igniting on that first stage. Then we have this stage here. Then we have a solid rocket. Then we have the liquid fuel, which is going to be for, just started off gently to boost our height on the apparatus. So we've got up to 3000 delta V, so we should get a little higher. So this is going to be Exploder 5, and we're going to, obviously, unfortunately, you know, we did lose one of our guys. So let's go and see who we've got Kerbal wise. We have an engineer, so we'll take out the engineer. We need a pilot on this, I think. So Valentina, we're now going out for Valentina, and we might have to look at employing another pilot. So we will go and look at that next if this launch goes well. Oh, okay, so I can't launch because of the height. Right, so we're going to save that vehicle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Space Center. This is part of the upgrade process. So basically our vehicle is too big for our launch pad. So what we can do is right click our launch pad and upgrade it for 75,000. That increases the tonnage, so we can go up to 140 tons and maximum dimensions. So let's upgrade that, and we'll go and have a look at it. Let's go and have a look at our new launch pad, if I can. It's not necessarily that easy. No, it's not that. So you can see it's a little bit more. We'll see a little bit more when we go there this time. We're also going to have a look at our astronaut complex, because we are down to, we did lose one, missing in action, unfortunately. So Jebediah did get lost, so we need to have a look at a new pilot. Port Dorla Kerman, okay, possibly. Actually, he's the only pilot, so we're going to have to go for Dorla, I think, and see how they are. Whereas at the moment we've got courage and stupidity is quite good. This might be a better pilot, but Valentino I think will still be our test pilot for the moment. Okay, so let's go for this next launch. We've upgraded there. See if we can bring back those science points this time, because we need to get those 20 science points. So let's go for a launch with our slightly bigger rocket. So what we're going to do, as we get into position, so we've got a nice new rocket pad, as you can see here. It's got a proper launch facility by the looks of it, so that's much better. Able to handle, rather than the basic V1 launching system we had previously. So we're going to set up the turn on SAS. Right, now we're going to bring down the initial thrust of the liquid fuel rocket when it goes off. We're going to check to make sure that our satellite, our parachute isn't trying to launch in space this time. Okay, that is very important, and I must remember that each time. Okay, ready for launch? Are you ready, Mr. Valentina? 3, 2, 1. We are off. Slight inclination to the right at launch. 1, launching stage 2, trying to keep it in control, going into orbital mode. Our apparatus is 18 kilometers, going to 20, trying to pushing over to the right. Okay, going for the final stage here, going to just a small amount of boost and pushing it up so we don't lose control, aiming at our prograde marker, which is the marker that will give us the maximum amount of height. So I'm going to increase the throttle now steadily, making sure I stay in control. Yes, that's good. Got a good amount here. We're going to use most of our liquid here. Right, we've got an apparatus of 120 kilometers now. We're going to stay on that for the moment. Now I've kept a bit of fuel because I'm going to try, and when we get to about 60 we'll have a look at our height. So our AP, apparatus, is at 119, is our highest point at the moment, and we're basically cruising towards that at this time. So what we're going to do is aim at our prograde point, which is going to extend this out as far as possible. So I'm slowly heading over to there. There we go. So we're ready for when we get close. Now what I'm going to do, there we go. That's most already close enough. Got as close as I can reasonably get in there. So we're going to give a final burn just before we get to that point. Before we do that though, let's get some experimentation going. Let's get our goo pod working. Deploy the goo pod. Alright, mystery goo. Mystery goo, please observe. That's a good 13 science there. Right, we'll reset our goo container, and then we'll go to our crew and do a crew report at this height. Excellent, that's another 10 science. So we have, which contracts? We have escaped the atmosphere and a 70k height, which is excellent. So we're getting close to our apparatus. We need to find, let's just make sure we are close. Right, we need to re-equate. We're almost there. Let's aim at that prograde point and give another burn just to elongate this. So there's a heavy burn. You can see how much that is increasing. Now we're going to pull that down a little bit. I think we might have run out of fuel now. Yep. So we run out of fuel, but we were close. You can see how much that is increasing. We were close to getting an almost orbital type of trajectory. From that, if we had some more fuel, right, we'll check that. Now this time we have a functional parachute, because I haven't deployed it yet. We've got one stage left, which is the deployment of the parachute. So what we're going to do is we're going to aim our ship at the prograde, the opposite side. Okay, that is just there. Okay, so when it comes in, the heat shield's going to be facing backwards. And we're going to keep it pointed at that prograde. Now I'm just going to increase the speed a little bit until we're getting close to atmosphere. Now you can see the prograde is changing, but we're okay at this moment. We're still level with the Earth. We can see the Earth there. Right, I'm going to just take that down just so that I can bring that back onto the prograde. Well, I think it will hit about there, so let's speed it up again. just so that the bottom of the vehicle is showing on re-entry. Right, we're getting close to the atmosphere. You can see we're just hitting that 60,000 mark. So we're heading into atmosphere, so I'm just going to let this head down. I'm going to take off the SAS as well so that it will naturally turn itself to the right point as it's coming down. We don't need too much control. I'll just speed up the time here. There we go, hitting the atmosphere at a fairly high speed. This is where before it burns up. Now we've got a water landing, which is fine. We're on that prograde, which is nice. And yes, excellent. We've managed to successfully get through the atmosphere, and we're still at 8k up. 7. I'll put the 3k. We will launch the parachute, and then this should be a successful flight. Parachute deployed, and it works this time. Woohoo! Just got to hope. Unfortunately, as I said, the flight computer is part of the mech engineer program. Which I haven't gone through the full bits through, but it MacLeod, which isn't showing yet. We haven't got it available because it's not available fully on this particular version. When I'm in the sandbox, I can see all of the various areas, but it's not available in here. So we're fairly much on manual control still at the moment. We haven't got any autopiloting or additional aids for our system. We'll have to look at that later on. As I say, hopefully we're going to get some science here and see what we can get. Okay, we have a successful landing. I'm not going to take him out at that point. We will just do a crew report, see if that... no, we'll keep with the one that was outside. Okay, let's recover this vessel. Okay, coming back in, come on guys, where are you? Excuse me, do apologise. 39 science, excellent, 13 science earned from that data gathering and the while in space and a recovery of so that's the crew report there, 5 parts, mystery goo. Now, is it a matter we didn't get it from the mystery goo? Oh no, we got the 8 points were from the gathering of the mystery goo, I believe. So we need to look at those and see how the mystery goo. We got a good, I think we got some good funds there. 1 XP gained, excellent. So how the mystery goo works, I will look up and just work out with the best time to launch that. But that was good. That was an excellent little area. Now, whoops, we can see we've got some reputation now for doing things which are good, and we can actually have some alternative contracts other than just the current orbit. So we've got a few more possible areas. So what have we got? Right, so to complete, so we've got to possibility of taking a passenger up there. Okay. Would give us 22 reputation. As the second one, we could set ourselves up as a so we've got a duration here, so in the next 4 years we could take this, and we just got to do in the next 4 years take them on a sightseeing. Right, okay, but we'd have to, before we do that, we need to get a multi-person command module. Let's see, so we'll have a look through some of these. I'll have a look at these offline. So basically, but we've expanded out on the possible contracts we can go for, which is cool. So okay, we'll go back on that. We can only have 2 though at the moment at any time, so we will we'll leave that for the moment, but it is good to see. We'll have a look at what is on our research as well. So we've got 2 choices now. There was survivability and general rocketry. Let's have a look under survivability. It will give us a heat shield, which could be handy, especially if we increase the weight of our unit. Landing struts, rather than just plonking themselves on the ground, potentially good. Slightly different parachutes. A service bay. Right, that's good. Service bay would be handy, and it's 15 points, and we've got 39. The other area is rocketry, so a bigger fuel tank and a bigger solid fuel, and I think that's got to definitely be one way we go. We go 20 there and 50. Now we can have both. Now the other one is stability, which seems to be more headed towards the we do have a radial decoupler, but does seem to be headed towards the vehicular, so we're not going to worry about that one for the moment. So what I think we'll do is we'll get the general rocketry, which then links us up to advanced rocketry, which is 45 sites, even bigger fuel tanks, even bigger liquid engines, more thrust basically on those, and some small ones, etc. And general construction, what have we got here? Struts, so we can make our vehicles more stable. Fuselage to hold things, it's just a structural component to make it a little bit longer. Rockomax. Okay, so this is a bigger decoupler with injection force, and that's the adapter, so it basically looks like it's for bigger rockets, and launch stability. Okay, and then we'll go for survivability here as well, so we get these bits, so that's going to help. And flight control, this could be what our next one is. So yes, the AR202, which is part of MacLeod and allows us to do certain extra changes and set certain things, so we can almost autopilot a little bit. New winglets, which are okay. Small inline reaction wheels. Okay, so that's a non-propellant control, which is good, and this inline cockpit. That's for aircraft, so we won't worry about that one, but we might go for this one as a next one, because there's a couple of good extra parts in there. Yes, there's some good extra sections in there, but we've got that, so that's now increased what is available in our building menu. So we can reproduce the exploder and go to a new series. We've still got this same command pod, so we've still got no more than a single crew capacity. So taking people along is going to be a bit problematic, but we've got a much better fuel tank now. So that's hopefully 45, 50, yes, it's double the fuel tank capacity, and hopefully a little bit more rigid. Currently these ones, it maybe flex a little bit. And engine wise, let's see what we got. We got the Reliance, which is still a good little engine, but we have this swivel one, which gives us basically more control. It's like a thrust vectored version from memory. And this solid booster, whereas this one was 300 fuel and a 200 thrust. This is 600 fuel and a 300 thrust. So it's going to thrust longer and harder. And it is a Rocco Marx, which does make it a little bit larger, which means it would have some problems connecting, I think, to some of our couplers, but we'll see how that works. It is quite a large unit. Other than that, we have this service bay, which we can look at as well. So for putting various items into, and a new parachute. So, but it's just designed so that instead of going onto the very top, it would go onto the side. So it's good if you want to bring back a complete unit or the aircraft, which we won't look at the moment on. And what we've got the science lab. We might have to, I think what we might look at next is putting the science lab, see if we can do more information with the science, get more science, get those, at this stage we're all about the science as such. So, okay, we've set some records, we got out of the atmosphere, which is great, and we have plans for our next mission, which I think we will have a look through, but I think we'll go for the getting into orbit, plus maybe one other of these. So I think we will take, our next mission is get into orbit of the planet, and then we will test one of these other items, which might be a move towards it, which gives us some extra area, and we might go for something like this to use the flea on a suborbital, change the solid rocket to be a flea, and see if we can get that just pushed out there. So we'll have a look at, as I say, I'll have a look at those before next time and just see what's available to us. So hopefully this is new to me, so I'm working it through as we go along, which is great. I'm doing what people would have to do is if they got this game new. So it's great for seeing how this all works and what some of the good bits are, etc. I'm going to have to spend some time on the wiki. It does seem like you do have to spend some time looking things up on wikis and other areas just to confirm how things work. And even then, sometimes it just does not make sense totally, and it's best to just do a bit of experimentation. And I do like working in games, at least, on experimentation. This is obviously real life, you find out as much as you can about it, but this isn't real life, this is a game, so I can experiment. So we will come back to Kerbin soon. Oh, I have a I don't know what this is. Bob's Cleft, Agency Strucco. Okay. There's something there, and I'm not sure what that is. That must be someone has put something into space from Strucco. Interesting. Didn't know that was happening. Coming here, there's something there, and it looks like it's in an orbital situation. So obviously it's one of the rocket testing from Strucco. Amazing. Didn't even know that was happening. And this we'd have other things in space. Things you learn whilst watching Kerbal. This game just sort of fascinates me. It gets me fascinated, which is great. Okay, until next time. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Click that like button. Let me know of the stupid things I'm doing and what I should be doing if you know the Kerbal. or any comments of what you think it should be the next one of those VIP ones. Should I be looking at taking passengers up, doing the SpaceX, or should I be heading out towards satellites and just doing some testing? So we'll have a check next time. But until I see you on the next episode, have fun.